This is the Horse Radio Network.
This is episode 12 of the Wisdom by WESA show on the Horse Radio Network. This is Mike Donnell.
This is Casey Wilbanks-Coletti.
And this is Sophia Ayala. Welcome to the Wisdom by WESA podcast on the Horse Radio Network.
This podcast is brought to you by the Western and English Sales Association, WESA, which provides the world's largest trade events for retailers, manufacturers, and sales representatives of the equestrian industry. In this podcast, we feature exclusive interviews with noteworthy Western and English personalities, retailers, and exhibitors who you've always wanted to talk to. Don't miss out on all the news for manufacturers and retailers in the equine industry. You can listen to Wisdom by WESA on most of your favorite podcast players. You can also listen on the Horse Radio Network app on your iOS or Android phone. You just search Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and it's super easy to use. Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Sophia, we know that knowledge is power. How is WESA incorporating education into the WESA markets?
Right. So one way of implementing education into the program or the markets is through the product presentations, which we just implemented during the last January market in 2018.
What is the product presentation?
So the product presentations are detailed, informative sessions by WESA members, so manufacturers and sales representatives. And all buyers are welcome to join in and to learn more about all the different products. We've had great feedback, and so we decided to continue the presentations this year because getting tips and tricks from the pros directly will give all the buyers a great advantage in the retail environment. So it's really just a great way to learn from industry experts up front and personal.
Sure, absolutely. When do the product presentations take place during the market?
The product presentations will be taking place on January 12th and 13th, which is the Saturday and Sunday of the January WESA market.
On Saturday, we have presentations scheduled every hour from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m., and then again on Sunday at 9:30 a.m. and 12:30 p.m.
And where can they find this information just to keep themselves reminded?
The detailed schedule can be found in the directory, which was emailed out, and you can also find it on our website, wesatradeshow.com.
Do you already know who will be presenting this year?
Yes, the Outback Trading Company will kick off the series with a presentation on their stock investor, followed by companies such as Double Diamond, The Elegant, and Cripple Creek collections. So we have presentations on a variety of product categories, from apparel to tag over jewelry and supplies.
Awesome. Thank you, Sophia, for sharing such valuable inside information. And now let's speak with today's show guest, Ryan Vaughan.
The Rios of Mercedes family of Western boot brands can trace its roots back to 1853, when the ancestors of the Rios family in Mexico made boots for the country's soldiers. Today, the company, now headquartered in Mercedes, Texas, markets boots under the Rios of Mercedes, Anderson Bean, Olathe, Macy Bean, Miss Macy, and Horsepower brands. Ryan Vaughan, the company's executive vice president and general manager, joined the business back in 1999. Ryan joins us today to talk about what makes his company and his boots unique in terms of quality and also its retailer-only business model. Hey, Ryan, thanks so much for joining us on Wisdom by WESA.
Glad to be here. Appreciate the opportunity.
Obviously, it's great to talk to a brand that is well known. I went through the company dates back to the 1800s. You weren't there then, but you were there in 1999, as I recall. And a lot of things have happened with this company since that time, all for the benefit of retailers. I mean, the business model has been to add brands. The business model has been to support the retailers. But one thing you and I talked about the other day, and I think is worth mentioning again, is your commitment to be a provider to the retailers and not a vendor to the consumer.
Yes, sir. Exactly. That's our brands do have a lot of heritage, and we've been around a long time. With Rios of Mercedes being one of the first brands down here in South Texas, and the Olathe boot company was one of the first boot companies with hire up in the Kansas area, and then we started Anderson Bean in the mid '80s. But all of our brands were built around family-owned retail operations, and it was one of the things that really made who we are and built us. And so one of the things we just never wanted to lose focus on who brought us to the dance. And that's retailers, especially family-owned operations, single store in small towns that are serving their friends and neighbors and family members and have been for many, many years. And they need a trusted partner to bring them quality products, stuff they can be proud to sell. Because most of these folks, whenever they sell a product, they're going to see that husband or that wife or that man or that woman at church next week or at dinner that night, and the last thing they want to hear is, "Man, you sold me a junky boot or a bad saddle." And so we want to give them good quality products they can be proud of.
And that's something that I was going to mention, because I have seen this firsthand with your company. You very heavily promote your retailers, and that's in a lot of different forms. And one of which is social media. The list of your retailers is also on your website, but on social media, I've noticed, and I've been very impressed with how much support and recognition that you give to your retailers via your social media channels. You're constantly telling your personal fans on Facebook where your retailers are going to be. Say there's a booth right now at the AQHA World Show. And I think that's something very important that I've noticed with your brand that you guys continuously do.
Yeah, I mean, that's how we sell boots. We can make them all day long, but if they're not, checking through off the shelves, so we've got people who are looking for our products and can't find them. And so we're constantly trying to tell them, hey, here's where you can get them. And, one of the downsides of dealing with, family-owned operations is they don't have an IT staff. They don't have somebody that can do the web development and great photography. And I say some of them don't. And so that's really what we're trying to do for them, is provide some of that infrastructure for them. And we just started a thing on our Anderson Bean site called AB Originals. There are some really creative people who are designing and building phenomenal looking boots, but they don't have them on the web, and they don't have much of a social media platform. And so we're really trying to throw that up there so our fans can find them. And you're right. It's very much the focus. We don't need customers. We need to have them be the customers, drive them to the customers. So thank you for noticing.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we should mention all of the brands in your Rios of Mercedes, say, family line of boots, because there's multiple brands that you manufacture.
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, here domestically in South Texas, we build the Rios of Mercedes brand, which is in the factory right next door to me. And then in the factory where I office is Anderson Bean and the Olathe brands. We build them in the same plant, but completely everything built from start to finish here in Mercedes, Texas. And then we do build a few of our price point brands down in Leon, Guanajuato. We've been doing business down there for many years, and in the leather side of things, we try to buy and support as much as we can from our U.S. manufacturers, but there's not a lot of boot and shoe making here in the States anymore, and so when there's not a lot of that, then you have to go to where the suppliers are, and so sure. Thankfully, Leon's an easy place to go, because we all speak Spanish here, and we do a lot of business down there, and so we build our horsepower brand in Leon, as well as Macy Bean and the Miss Macy brand, which we launched a few years ago with LaDane Smith. And then we also have a couple of kids lines down there underneath those same brands. So, yeah, we've been able to, one of the things we've always wanted to do is, if we're going to start a new brand, we don't want to ever bleed the quality across brand names. So you'll never be associated in Mexico with a Rios of Mercedes brand or the Olathe brand per se.
Well, for potential retailers, as a consumer coming directly from me, I own a lot of different brands of your boots. I can say I personally have and wear Macy Beans, Anderson Beans. I also have my favorite pair, which is a pair of Rios of Mercedes, and my husband wears Olathe. We love every pair. We love every brand that we have and that we wear. Speaking of the Rios of Mercedes, they're a luxury boot. They are like wearing heaven on your feet. I don't know exactly how to eloquently say it. I was so excited to get my first pair of Rios of Mercedes boots, and I feel like a lot of people feel the same way. They fit kind of like no other, and you may be able to allude to the fact of why that is.
Yeah, and some people don't find their fit in Rios, and that's one of the things we really push to our Rios retailers. If you've got to work at it, you've got to really work to fit people, and you've got to have some sizes and widths, and it's when you're going to spend $600,000, $700,000, $800,000 on a pair of boots, they need to be right. And the Rios fit is, it's a little bit more exacting. It's a little bit more precise in the throat measurements and a little bit narrower in the arch. Our core customer is a competitive horse show rider, trainer, somebody who uses those boots as a tool. And so we build our boots with the guts in them. But especially for that competitive horse, there's no laces on a pair of cowboy boots. So when you're really going to get in the stirrup and you're going hard on a horse, cutting or reining, that boot you can't be sliding around in that boot. It has to fit you really snug. And so that's really the way we build those boots in Rios is you need to really have to pull them on. But once they're in, you hit it. It really locks you in, locks your ankle in, locks you around the instep. Some people aren't used to that. They're used to, loose boots or loose tennis shoes or flip-flops and things. And so it's not for everybody. But when you do get that fit, then you're right. Exactly what you experience. You kind of have to get rid of a lot of stuff in your closet.
Yeah, they fit your foot very snug. So you would say they're comfortable, durable, yet they're very classy looking.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thankfully you've experienced that.
That's right. Well, Ryan, why don't you tell us, do you have anything new coming out for the January market?
Okay. See, we've always got new developments and things. That's really what keeps us fresh and in our kind of niche with our retailers is giving them just we're a small enough company that a lot of leather suppliers are always coming to us with new and different things. We've got an elk program that we've been really working great with. We've got a few new finishes in that. What we did was we took a supplier up in Milwaukee that was was selling elk for elk gloves, but the hides of the rear end area are very thick, and it was too thick for gloves. Okay. And so they've put a nice little program together. It's a really nice, heavy hide, but really soft. I mean, obviously it's glove leather. So very durable, and we've come up with some new finishes in that, and we're doing a lot of rough out. I actually just got back from the Working Ranch Cowboy Association finals out in Amarillo, and man, rough outs are everywhere, and in pretty bright colors. A lot of pigskin rough outs. We bought a big lot of pigskins recently from Wolverine. Also has tanneries in addition to footwear, and we bought some really neat pigskins, suedes. That I'm really excited about. And believe it or not, we think we're going to be seeing some colors on the vamp and the foot leather. So there were some guys out there wearing red suedes and even a pink suede for Cancer Ribbon Night. But new finishes on our fish. I'm sure you've seen that stuff. The Arapaima, Pirauku is just crazy how popular that is. So we've come with a few new finishes in that. We're doing a lot of exotics, a lot of ostrich finishes, a lot of elephant. We've had pretty nice little business in the hippo recently. We've been getting some nice deliveries, and it's a lot of the bigger companies can't get enough of it to do large volumes that they need to do, and so we tend to have a nice little niche in those markets. I'm always got something special, something new. So I can't give you all of my trade secrets. They'll come in January.
That's right. Well, and coming from the fashion world, what I heard from part of that was maybe you just gave the retailers a little bit of insight into a trend forecast for this coming year, and that just sounds like rough out.
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Yeah, for years it was actually a joke. One of our retailers said, "Well, I guess I better look at putting some rough out boots. I've finally got them off the closeout rack." And it seemed like every time we'd try a rough out or try a suede, they just wouldn't sell, and they'd go to the closeout rack. But it is definitely here, and looks like it's going to be here to stay for a little while. So, yes, definitely keep an eye out for that.
Wonderful. Well, I'm going to let Mike jump in here because I know he wanted to talk to you a little bit about the changes that you've seen since you joined the company in 1999. Am I on the right track, Mike?
You are, but I have another question. We've talked a lot about your Western boots, but you now have two women's lines, which are great lines, but on behalf of the retailer, you've now given them two new products to market in side by side with the Western boots. Talk a little bit how you see the women's market.
Yeah, obviously there was about an 8 to 10 year run when women's business was just on fire. And when mom's buying, she's usually buying boots for her husband, and she's usually buying boots for her kids. And whenever that kind of fell out of trend and out of fashion, it sure kind of hurt all over, but we're definitely seeing that coming back. And what we actually saw was a lot of ladies who were buying the fashion boots whenever the fashion kind of went down. They came back and bought Western boots. They bought another pair of their riding boots that they had not been really focused on the past 5 or 6 years, because they wanted to put all their money on these cool new blingy boots. And so our Macy Bean brand, which is geared a little bit more to the horse, young ladies riding horses, barrel racers, and that set actually has been very strong the last 3 or 4 years. But LaDane Smith joined our team a few years ago, and she launched the Miss Macy brand, and very urban, very crossover looks. And she's really built a nice business, and it's one of those things. People say, "Why do you need so many brands?" And a lot of it is we when you can identify a niche and you really want to take care of the customer, and that was what LaDane really showed us, is what that crossover brand can do. LaDane has tremendous amounts of customer service and the following because of that. She takes care of the small boutique accounts like they are $1 million account. And there's a lot of the big companies, and even us. I mean, I can tell you that, those 5 pairs here, 6 pairs here, single pairs overnighted and rushed. It's hard to stop what you're doing when you're running a factory and go take care of them. And LaDane makes them feel like they are king or queen of the world, and that really means a lot. And so we've learned a lot from LaDane on that. And styling is king when you're dealing with that fashion world. So she does an amazing job.
And then a different question. If I am maybe I'm a new retailer, there are new retailers come on from time to time. What do you look for in a retailer to bring them into your distribution channel?
We want you to care. We really, our brands are not like the Justins and Tony Lamas and Ariats of the world where everybody knows, and it's just going to be open your doors and people are going to come in there. You've got to work at it. You've got to work at selling up your customer and getting them into the better product. Sometimes it takes some work. And you need to pay your bills, but no, I mean, in all reality is we're looking for partnerships. And that's really what I've kind of decided, that we can't give the same amount of co-op monies. We can't give the same amount of discounts and terms and things as a lot of these big companies. But I can tell you, we're going to be the best earned partner there is. And that's backing up our product and our service and doing what we say we're going to do. And if we don't, then we're going to make it right. And that's what we hope for in our retailers. And we're looking for a new retailer. We're not looking for a 6 or 12 or 20 pair order and then never see you again. I'm 40 years old and I plan on doing this for another 20, 30 years. And so we're looking for people who are really wanting to service and take care of customers and to build a relationship. So, hopefully there's a lot more of those coming down the line. We're seeing some second and third generation, some younger kids coming into the family businesses, and that excites me a lot.
Well, that's great. And Casey actually did refer to something that I was curious about. You came in the business in 1999. We're in 2018. What major changes and differences have you seen in the boot and Western footwear industry from when you first set foot in it?
Well, it shows in our inventory, especially in the way we do businesses. You've got to have a lot of inventory, and the retailers really depend on us a lot more to have the products, at least if not in stock, that they can get them quicker. And that, whenever I started in '99, we had 0 finished goods, which means every boot we made, when we finished it, we shipped it and invoiced it. Now we've got 35, 40,000 pairs in our distribution center across the street. And not to mention leather inventories. I mean, just a lot of the core of what we do here domestically is building exactly what that retailer needs. And that's a guessing game. And so whenever you're trying to stay fresh all the time and have new things, as you end up, carrying stuff for longer than you want. So you've got to constantly have inventory turning, but you end up holding a lot more inventory to have that type of stuff at the right time. But really, to be the best partner, you've got to have the product for the retailers and when they need it. And so I think that's probably changed a lot of it. I think the advent of new exotics and a lot of finishes. It seems like whenever I joined the company in '99, there was 4 elephant colors and, really 5 or 6 main ostrich colors. Cayman had 3 or 4, and now you've got just amazing amounts of oil pull-ups, and you've got glaze finishes and matte finishes, and you've got two-tone finishes and all of the fish skins that we're doing. And it's just the tanneries have gotten a lot better and a lot of the stuff they're doing and really up in their game. So really gives the customer and the retailer a lot of ways to be unique.
Well, that's a great perspective from 1999 to today. We could talk about this for a long time, but I think we've probably taken enough of your time. If there's anything else you'd like to add as we're chatting, please feel free. If not, we'll let you get back to the boot business.
Oh, I think, obviously y'all are doing a great job with this podcast. I'm so proud to be a part of WESA in this Western industry. I mean, the best part of this job is the people we get to work with. I mean, the people in our industry are just good people. You're not going to get rich doing what we're doing, but you can sure be proud of it. And the market does an incredible job. They're always taking good care of us. And we're excited about the changes, about the new things. We know the board's leading us in the right direction, looking for the best of our interests in this move to Dallas. And wherever it takes us, whatever we're going to do, we're going to keep working to serve our retailers. And I hope the retailers will continue to come and support our industry and support our markets, because we can't do it without them, and they can't do it without good quality products. And so hopefully we can continue to work together to do that together.
Well said, and thank you very much.
My pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Ryan.
Bye, Casey. Bye, Mike. Appreciate
Bye-bye.
it.
The show notes and the link from today's show can be found at the website wisdombywesa.com. And, of course, we'd love to hear your feedback. We have a contact link on the website.
The Wisdom by WESA show will be published on the 15th and 30th of every month. You can listen on most of your favorite podcast players. You can also listen on the Horse Radio Network app on your iOS or Android phone. Just search Horse Radio Network in the App Store. It's free and it's super easy to use. Be sure to visit all the great shows on the Horse Radio Network at horseradionetwork.com. Thanks for listening to the Wisdom by WESA podcast. WESA, where the industry meets.